Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving straight into some seriously fascinating architectural blueprints for scaling, and I mean hyper-optimizing a modern headless content management system. We're going to be looking at Adobe Experience Manager, GraphQL, and this incredibly clever approach called the Backend for Frontend, or BFF pattern. Let's explore exactly how massive enterprise systems pull off those lightning-fast digital experiences we all expect.
Okay, let's lay out our architectural blueprint for this explainer real quick. We're covering 1. Enterprise headless architecture. 2. The BFF pattern. 3. Solving BFF sprawl. 4. AEM delivery challenges. 5. Filtering and pagination tactics. And finally, 6. Caching and persisted queries.
So you might be wondering, what's the core challenge here? Well, it's something every software architect and developer eventually faces. How on earth do you scale a single AEM backend to power limitless front-end experiences? I'm talking web, mobile, smartwatches, voice assistants, the whole shebang, without creating massive bottlenecks. Just think about the sheer weight of rendering complex content structures for completely different screen sizes and device constraints. It is like a giant puzzle. But as you'll see, the source material lays out a brilliant way to solve it.
All right, part 1. Enterprise headless architecture. Establishing this baseline headless foundation really starts with AEM in modern frameworks like Next.js. An enterprise headless project relies on a few absolutely crucial pillars. First, content is modeled using content fragment models. Simple enough. But the real magic? That's the data movement. Next.js fetches JSON data via GraphQL. And why GraphQL instead of REST? Well, it lets the front end request only the exact fields it needs, which gives you a massive speed boost. Meanwhile, inline front-end updates route back to AEM via REST. It's this brilliant separation of read and write protocols that keeps the AEM repository exactly where it needs to be, as the definitive single source of truth.
Moving right along to part 2, the BFF pattern.
So, we've got our fast headless setup, but what happens when your client base explodes? Suddenly everything from mobile apps to random IoT devices is hitting the exact same back-end. Are your front-end teams constantly bottlenecked waiting for back-end changes? If so, you might be stuck in the monolithic model you see on the left. Think of it like a one-size-fits-all suit. Sure, it covers everything, but it fits literally no one perfectly. Enter the Backend for Frontend, or BFF. This introduces a dedicated back-end service tailored strictly to specific front-end applications, giving you specialized endpoints and, best of all, giving your front-end teams total autonomy. The advantages here are massive. Let's take a hypothetical e-commerce platform. You might build a super lightweight mobile BFF specifically to handle quick product listings and simple checkouts for users, say trying to shop on a spotty 3G connection in a subway. Meanwhile, your web BFF is over there handling the heavy lifting for desktop users, extensive reviews, 4K images, complex shopping carts. Each BFF delivers exactly what's needed. It slashes latency and lets your front-end teams iterate without stepping on each other's toes.
Okay, part 3. Solving BFF sprawl.
But, every great architectural pattern has a caveat. When you scale the BFF pattern, things can definitely go wrong. This quote really hits the nail on the head. BFFs are great at serving a small number of clients, but add too many, and you quickly get this sprawling, chaotic web. Suddenly, you've got overlapping infrastructure, duplicated code everywhere, and it's an absolute nightmare for site reliability teams trying to monitor performance across a dozen different schemas. The very solution meant to save you actually becomes a massive maintenance trap.
To avoid these pitfalls, organizations turn to federated GraphQL. Think of this as a highly intelligent data gateway. Instead of a messy web of BFFs, a federated approach provides a single endpoint that totally abstracts the complex microservice layer away from the clients. It delivers the simplicity of a monolith for your front-end teams so they can focus purely on user experience. And at the same time, it preserves the agility of a decoupled backend, allowing backend engineers to focus on core logic and SREs to ensure security and scale safely.
Let's move to part 4 and see how this builds. AEM delivery challenges.
All right, let's zoom into the micro-level optimizations required for AEM GraphQL. Grounding this in some real-world insights from the Adapt to the conference, have you ever just sat there and watched your AEM instance completely choke on a massive GraphQL list query? Yeah, we've all been there. On instances with a high number of content fragments sharing the same model, list queries can become incredibly costly. The main culprits? Large initial result sets and inefficient filtering. Just think about the sheer cost of it. If AEM has to load 100,000 fragments into memory just to filter them down to 10, your performance is going to absolutely tank.
Which brings us to part 5, filtering and pagination tactics. So how exactly do we fix that slowness? Well, we apply the first step of our optimization strategy, filter smartly. AEM tackles this beautifully with hybrid filtering. What's really interesting about this slide is how it combines the Java Content Repository, the JCR, with AEM's internal logic. By combining filter expressions, specifically using the logical AND operator on fields of top-level fragments, you drastically limit that initial memory-hogging result set before AEM even has to process the deeper, nested fragments.
Okay, listen up, because this right here is highly actionable. A massive pro tip directly from the Adobe documentation. Always try to use the repository structure to narrow down the scope of content by filtering on the underscore path field of your top-level fragment. And here is the surprising part. Actually, always include a trailing slash on the path value. Something like /content/dam/weekend/. That single, tiny slash, it literally forces the engine to optimize the query, yielding the absolute best performance. You want to keep the repository structure working for you.
So, after filtering, you've got to paginate efficiently. Let's clearly contrast the two mechanisms we're looking at here. If your query suffix ends in .list, like article list, you're using standard limit/offset pagination. If you want results 50 to 55, the fetcher has to pull and physically skip the first 50 results. It works, sure, but it's much lower efficiency. Conversely, ending the suffix in .paginated unlocks cursor-based pagination. The fetcher only pulls results starting from the exact cursor point. For large datasets, that is vastly more efficient.
Finally, part 6, caching and persisted queries. We've filtered smartly, we've paginated efficiently. Now for the final and honestly perhaps most critical step of our optimization strategy, cache relentlessly. Standard GraphQL uses post requests, right? And those are notoriously difficult for content delivery networks to cache. AEM solves this entirely with persisted queries. Step 1. The client registers that heavy GraphQL query with AEM ahead of time. Step 2. AEM saves it and hands back a unique short query handle. Step 3. The front-end client just invokes that handle using a simple HTTP GET request. Switching from a heavy post payload to a lightweight GET request, that is a real game changer that completely unlocks the caching power of your CDN.
And this brilliantly illustrates the multi-layered defense strategy for a highly optimized setup. Follow the caching flow with me here. When that GET request comes in from the browser, it hits the CDN, like Fastly, first. If it's cached there, boom, it returns instantly. If not, it falls back to the Apache Dispatcher, which acts as the crucial first-level cache for the AEM service. Only if both of those caches miss does the request finally hit the AEM GraphQL engine. It perfectly protects your core servers from getting totally overwhelmed. Right, but to make this work seamlessly, you must set your HTTP cache control headers. Because uncached requests are so incredibly resource-heavy, AEM actually allows you to customize the cache headers for each individual persisted query, right there in the AEM GraphQL IDE. This is amazing because it ensures your fast-changing content has a really short cache life, while your static content just lives out on the CDN edge for days, perfectly protecting your origin AEM resources.
Wow, we've been on a massive architectural journey today, haven't we? From breaking down rigid monolithic backends in favor of specialized BFF patterns, to reining in sprawl with federated GraphQL, and then getting deep into optimizing AEM delivery with smart path filtering and edge caching. Your foundation is now incredibly solid, perfectly scaled, and blazing fast. So what does this all mean? Well, the only question left to ask is, with all these bottlenecks completely removed, what amazing experiences will your front-end teams build next? Thanks so much for joining me in this explainer,